Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Before we get into it, I want to announce something really exciting. I'm going to be doing a giveaway of 2 jerseys from any draft pick this year in the 2025 NFL Draft. Only if we hit 1,000 subscribers before April 24th, which is the NFL Draft. If we can hit 2,000, I'll do 5 jersey giveaways. Now, the way that you enter is you subscribe and you comment which jersey you guys would want, like what pick or what player and what team that they would be playing for. So I'm sure I mentioned in my first video that I'm a Cowboys fan. So I'm going to be doing a Cowboys mock draft. Now, before we fully get into it, I traded back to pick 20. I got, pick 20, pick 51, and a second next year. That doesn't really matter. This is just what I do because, the Cowboys, they have no head coach. They don't even have a GM, if we're being honest. But we can only dream to get a new GM. And then after Jerry, it's going to be Steven, which is incredibly frustrating. But it is what it is at the end of the day. You can't change that. So it's going to be really interesting to see who the Cowboys pick up as a head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They interviewed Kellen Moore today. Personally, don't love that. But hey, it is what it is. I think the Cowboys are a really good team. They got a good structure. They just need, to fill some holes like wide receiver 2, running back position, some holes on defense. And they just need to get healthy, to be honest. Especially Dak, when Dak's healthy and, he has competent weapons around him other than CeeDee Lamb, he's a top 10 to 5 quarterback in the league. I know a lot of people just raise their eyebrows at that. Look, men lie, women lie, stats don't lie. So, let's get into it now. So, the Cowboys are traded back to pick 20. Ashton Jeanty is obviously not on the board. A couple of names I see here, Colston Loveland, Ferguson, he had a really up and down year. He struggled with all kinds of injuries and drops and stuff like that. It wasn't his year. I do think the Cowboys should go tight end at some point in this draft, but I don't think they should go in the first round. Unless maybe Tyler Warren's there, but I think that he had already gone. I think the Cowboys could go after a left tackle. I see, Josh Simmons, Cameron Williams, but he's a right tackle. But, to be honest with you, I don't think that they should go after offensive tackle. I don't think they need to go after corner. There's one person I'm looking at right now who I think could really come in and help the Cowboys day one. And that's Jalen Walker of the University of Georgia. He could play edge. He could play linebacker. And I think the Cowboys do need linebacker because Kendricks. There we go. Eric Kendricks is a free agent this year. I think Overshown is an all-pro when healthy, but he suffered 2 season-ending injuries back-to-back years. He probably won't even be back with the Cowboys until, November, maybe early December. So the Cowboys need a linebacker. I know Maris Liufau, he had a good season, but he's still young. I think Jalen Walker come in day one and make a really big impact for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we have our first pick in the second round. Because I traded back, we got 2 second-round picks. I personally love this for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, they took linebacker/edge here in the first. Now, some positions I'm looking at here, maybe running back, defensive tackle, receiver. Let's see who's there at receiver. He surprisingly actually jumped in the draft, and that's Matthew Golden. I think he was Texas's best receiver this year. And if you would have told me that this time next year or after Isaiah Bond transferred, I would have told you you're crazy because I love Isaiah Bond. I think he's a great player. But it's pretty simple that Matthew Golden was Texas's best receiver this year. He's a hometown guy. I think he could be a great Robin to CeeDee Lamb's Batman. So I'm going to go Matthew Golden here. Gives Dak another weapon. I think that's what Dak needs. Dak needs more weapons around him. So with that being said, let me look at the running back position. Personally, I don't think Amari and Hampton makes it to 51. So I'm not even going to consider him here. He'll probably be an early to late first round pick. Well, sorry, an early second to late first round pick. Definitely not an early first round pick. Somebody who I think has had an incredible playoffs is Henderson from Ohio State. I could definitely see the Cowboys going him here. Let's see what defensive tackles are still hanging around. Deone Walker, I like him a lot. He's a big, kind of nose tackle. The Cowboys, their worst player, according to PFF, I believe, was Mozzie Smith, their first-round pick from 2 years ago. Osa Odighizuwa is a free agent. I think it makes a lot of sense to go Deone Walker here. I don't know. Because I think if we wait for running back, our next pick isn't until 149. So I don't see, maybe Ollie Gordon. But let's not lie. I think the Cowboys will bring back Rico Dowdle, who was a 1,000-yard rusher this year. I could potentially see them bringing in, Nick Chubb, pair him with Rico Dowdle because Nick Chubb's in his contract year with the Browns, and he's coming off 2 injuries. I highly doubt the Browns bring him back, to be honest with you, which is kind of heartbreaking because I really do like Nick Chubb. I don't think it's smart for the Browns. So I'm going to go with Deone Walker here. So far while we wait, we've taken Jalen Walker, linebacker from Georgia, Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas, and Deone Walker, defensive tackle from Kentucky. Very SEC heavy. There's nothing wrong with that. There is not a single thing wrong with that. I mean, SEC, that's from the past. Those are NFL guys. 2 defensive guys and a receiver. 2 guys that could really help out Micah Parsons. I mean, I think he needs help. Hopefully Trayvon Diggs gets healthy. Let's see. Who else is hanging around? Let's see. Let me look at tight end room. Nobody worth it here, in my opinion. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with Ollie Gordon here. We're going to be doing 5 rounds. Okay, so obviously Ollie Gordon did not have anything close to the season that he was supposed to have. I mean, he was coming into the season, talks about him being a Heisman contender. I think before the off season, or before the season started, excuse me, if you asked any scout, any college football fan about who the consensus number 1 running back in college football was, they would say Ollie Gordon. He just had such a down year. I couldn't really tell you why. I don't even say he had a down year. It's just it wasn't what his last season was. So therefore, it just kind of looked like a down year, which I'm sure is really frustrating because there were talks about him going in the first round. I think I even mocked him to the Cowboys in the first round a long time ago. At around probably this time last year, because he was dominating. And it's so unfortunate that he just had a down year, but in this case, I'm not complaining. Now, somebody who I think is extremely underrated. So first of all, I'm going to say this running back class is insanely deep. It's probably the deepest position in the draft, which, I think the Cowboys picked a good year to really need running back. I mean, their running back room is Dowdle, but he's a free agent, so we don't really know. I mean, obviously, I think the Cowboys will bring him back, unless he's asking for too much money, and we know how the Joneses are when somebody asks for what they're worth. They don't pay them that much. So there's 2 names I'm looking at here who I would like for the Cowboys. Yes, I fully expect the Cowboys to double dip at running back this year. So I like Devin Neal from Kansas a lot. He's athletic, but he started the year kind of slow, and he had a couple good games at the end of the year. But the guy who I'm really looking at is Damian Martinez, the running back from Florida. He's also a guy who started the year really slow. He transferred in from Miami, I think in the spring, and it just wasn't exactly a scheme fit at first. But then eventually Martinez figured it out, and oh my goodness, when he figured it out, he was incredible. I mean, he's so hard to tackle. He's big. He's strong. I mean, he's such a great change of pace back, in my opinion. So that's who I'm going to go here. I'm going to go Damian Martinez. I'm going to double dip at running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys have another pick at 171. I think it's time that they look at backup quarterback, because Cooper Rush, free agent, that whole contract thing that he had where if he played a certain amount of snaps, he got a big bonus, and the Joneses screwed him. If I was Cooper, I'd be upset and I'd be gone. Let's see, Trey Lance. How could I forget? He's also a free agent. The only quarterback the Cowboys will have on the roster is Dak Prescott. And I don't really know who the Cowboys even think about bringing in. I mean, you're not going to bring in somebody to battle with Dak Prescott because you just paid him. You're paying him $60 million a year. That's your franchise quarterback. So I think that they should draft a quarterback who maybe could learn behind Dak. And somebody who's currently playing for the national championship is Riley Leonard. He's sneaky athletic, not just because he's white. I think he needs to develop a little bit, but I believe he has the potential to be a quality backup in the NFL. So I'm going to take him here. Let's see, is there anybody here who catches my eye? And I see a couple of running backs and defensive tackles. We already double dipped at running back. Let me look at receiver. I think the Cowboys need receiver just a little bit. It's gonna be impossible for me not to here, but I'm gonna go Ja'Cory Brooks. I mean, he's incredible in my opinion. I like him quite a bit. I like Ja'Cory Brooks a lot. He's long, he's athletic. He had an amazing season at Louisville. I think he's pretty underrated. But let's review real quick. We took Jalen Walker. He's a heck of a football player. I think that he just comes in day one for the Cowboys and makes an impact immediately. Pair him with Overshown, and that might be the best linebacker duo in the league. Maybe even trio if you throw in Marist. If Marist can develop into, something great, because he showed flashes during the season when he had to step up and, play due to injuries. Matthew Golden, I think he comes in day one and is immediately the wide receiver too, because I believe Brandon Cooks is a free agent. Deion Walker, you get a big, run stuffer. Hopefully the Cowboys bring back Osa Odigizua. I think that'd be a great pairing right there. And then, bring in, oh my goodness, Mozzie Smith for, situational stuff, third and short, stuff like that. Ollie Gordon and Damian Martinez. I think that's a good, running back duo to bring in. Riley Leonard to come in to learn from Dak Prescott and be the backup. Really no pressure on Dak, no pressure on Riley. And then Ja'Cory Brooks, I think that's a really underrated guy. I think he could go much higher. I think he could even go round 2 or 3, potentially. And then we picked up that Denver second, but it doesn't really matter. So that's going to do it for this video. You guys have a fantastic day. Remember to like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.